You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And we are so close, Boyd. We are so close. We had our auction draft on Sunday, and now that I've got a team, and I'm going to Vegas for opening weekend, I just can't wait for this to start. Can I be like Cartman, waiting for the Wii, and just go to sleep and wake up on a flight to Vegas?
I hope you get delayed.
I do have a layover.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking layover. I'm saying delayed. That's payback.
Already angry.
For a pre-recorded for a pre-recording comment you made, that was payback. You're not getting that much joy.
But seriously, man, I'm ready for this to go now. I'm sick of all this crap. Teddy Bridgewater today means that we should start.
Yeah, but that would have happened.
I know. It has
practice.
Nothing to do with preseason. It has nothing to do with anything. But this month of tease grinds on me.
Although last week the games actually had a little bit of juice to them.
We went 1-1, by the way.
Again. So what are we, 4-2 so far?
Yeah, and one thing we talked about, that if you'd push harder, we would have taken the Vikings over the Chargers. We probably should have. We lost $5 because one of the things that we do in the regular season is we never bet for or against the teams that we cheer for, which are the Chargers and the Titans. I would have bet Minnesota in that game.
Yeah, but no use blowing something up. We tried it once with the Titans 2 years ago, and it didn't work. So we'll stick to our guns on that point. And we should have taken the Vikings the week before that in Seattle, too. So I kind of shot that one down. So we're even.
Yeah.
But it's preseason. This week's going to be the hardest to pick. So we're only picking one game this week because we both went through the games and couldn't really find anything we like, because you don't know who's playing what, how much, where. This is the most random game of the betting season.
And this is one of the things Hard Knocks has shown me. And we're going to touch a little on Hard Knocks, and we've got a few other things to talk about. But the week 4 sometimes is just to help out the guys who are not going to make your team, but you like the fucking person. You like the athlete. You like their character. It becomes a little bit of a glee reel, you know?
Yep.
You let guys who have no chance of making your squad shine. So some other team might put them on the practice squad at $120,000 a year or whatever it is. You're trying to give these guys a chance. And I really respect that. That's one of my favorite things about Hard Knocks. And I honestly didn't really understand that until Hard Knocks. Where, okay, let's give this guy a showcase. Let's give him 11 carries, and there are a bunch of GMs watching this, and they will pick up an option on him.
Yeah, but not many of those guys make it either.
No.
Any kind of career.
No, but let's just go back to Houston last year. Two of the favorites of Hard Knocks One got signed to Baltimore's practice squad.
Yeah.
Another one got signed to Miami's practice squad. I kind of like it for this, but it makes the games less than absurd. They're just completely irrelevant.
Well, yeah, it's basically third stringers against third stringers except for the first series. Because they don't want these guys getting hurt.
And it's who gets on the film, right?
Yeah.
That's where you earn it as an undrafted free agent, is you can actually get footage in a game that you can show to someone else. Doesn't mean you're going to make a practice squad anywhere, but it certainly increases your chances.
Yeah. Now, my take from Hard Knocks last week was the one thing I liked about Fisher in Tennessee. Or I shouldn't say the one thing. He did some good things in Tennessee. I've shit on him for long enough, but the compassion he has for his players always stood out. Long before Pete Carroll ran out and would check on the health of a player that was hurt, Fisher was doing it in Tennessee for years before anybody even fucking paid attention to it. And in Hard Knocks, one of his undrafted wide receivers, his stepbrother was shot and killed during camp. And Fisher talking to him in his office reminded me of what I liked most about him in Tennessee. He did that kind of thing all the time. Run out onto the field, check on the guy, make sure he was okay, try and give him some encouraging words if it was bad. And he did it too when the safety, Rhino, I can't remember his name, I remember his nickname, Rhino, blew out his knee in their second preseason game. He was one of the first guys out on the field. And you don't see it out of a lot of coaches. But,
except Joey Porter.
Well, Bruce Arians seemed to only care about the honey badger, but in all or nothing when he got hurt. And that's edited too. But no, a lot of coaches don't. It's just like, who's up next? Let's go. At least Fisher, I believe he cares that much. And I think, like, watching him in the film room or in the meeting room, his energy isn't what I'd want out of a head coach. That's not how we do things around here. We do them this way and that way. And we're going to get into this Kaepernick thing, but it was almost like HBO was fucking setting the table with how they edited that in when he said, this is how we stand for the national anthem because it's important to us.
In the previous week, yes.
Yeah. And they showed film of how they stand on the sidelines during the national anthem, which leads us into...
well, okay, do we want to go right there right now?
Well, that was all I had on Hard Knocks was Fisher. That's the only take I had this week.
Like, okay, and I had very little. I mean, the Hard Knocks did nothing for me. I mean, I was amused by large, terrifying men in Mickey Mouse ears. That was cute. I do think that was an illegal chop block. And
yes.
I loved the way the defensive line coach just went crazy on number 75 from the Chiefs. That was dirty. I mean,
yeah.
And it wasn't illegal until this year. But when you see that impact, like that ground level footage they had was fantastic. Where you just saw him engaged up top and then a guy chop his knees. Like, we wouldn't survive that.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, the other thing, I guess the other thing, if I had to dig deep, was, and this was in the Ravens book, Billy coined this term to me, slapdicks in camp. Like that Austin Hill, the receiver with the kid.
Yeah.
He's a slapdick.
That's all he is.
He got no reps in the first preseason game. In the second preseason game, he got on the field, didn't get the ball targeted to him once.
Yeah, he blocked up field, but that's not enough to make even a 75-man roster.
No. So that's...
But
like
when you...
these guys,
Okay.
these guys go in thinking, okay, they're going to give me a shot. And I would feel the same way. I'm going to prove them wrong. But they get no reps in practice, no reps in games. They're just a body. And that's the reality of football.
And Spruce, I mean, maybe this is what's bugging me about this season of Hard Knocks is this is an ad for the NFL in LA. It's the most flagrant puff piece they've ever done. The whole story of the previous episode was Spruce. Well, Spruce's knee is hurt, so do you know what? I guarantee you this is the last we will ever hear of Mr. Spruce.
Yeah.
But that was the biggest preseason crowd in the history. Do you know what? When you're 2-5, which is where I expect the Rams will be, and, you know, anyone can fight me on that, but they're a 2-5 team. LA crowds are going to show up for kickoff, and they will be gone before the end. Keep an eye out for when they will not show the stands in Rams games past halfway through the third. They will be empty because they are empty after the 6th inning in Dodgers games. And this shiny new toy of an NFL team is going to go away real fucking fast.
Well, I think it'll last. I thought the same thing in Winnipeg with hockey, and it's starting to rumble now, but it's taken like 5 years of them doing nothing. I think
the attention span of someone who lives in Manitoba is a lot different than the attention span of someone who lives in LA.
I think you're underestimating 23 years without football.
No, watch it, and
these aren't Chargers fans.
Keep an eye out. Uh-huh.
You're lumping all of Southern California
actually
into one.
More shallow than Chargers fans. Keep an eye out. They will not be showing the stands in the third quarter in Rams games. They will not be showing it because they will be empty fucking stadiums. No one's going to fucking deal with the traffic. No one's going to go to the war zone that the Coliseum is based in. No one's going to be there. And it is a terrible team. It's a boring team. It's a boring coach. And they've got one star in Gurley. And you know what? Just like Eddie George, he's going to burn him out in 6 years too.
Well, that's every running back now, though, is done in 6 years.
Well, yeah, and most running backs won't get the 300 touches he's going to get.
No.
And just with Fisher running out, I honestly think the coaches are concerned about the players. On a human level, you have to coach them. And I think that these people, with some exceptions, are not evil. They do not see these people as disposable human beings.
A lot of them do.
But I'm reminded of when Joe Gibbs went to the booth. And a guy got knocked out in a kickoff return back in the old days. And he was in the booth and he's just going, man, as a coach, you run out there, you're terrified, you think the guy's really hurt. And then you find out he's just snoring. Well, different time, different era. Like, his concern was real. He just thought, I thought this guy was really hurt. And I think they ran out there, and they've always run out there. They're their guys. They don't want them to die. I think the concern has always been, for the most part, genuine. I don't think they're quite as callous and evil.
I don't know. It's bottom line league.
It still is. I mean, you're not wrong.
They just care if the next guy in can do the job.
Yeah, but there's no way you deal with a young kid in something you believe in and want him to die. And
I'm not saying they want him to die, but the concern is only there as if he can still play.
The concern goes away. The concern in the moment, I think, is genuine, but then they get over it real quick.
Well, it's not even real quick. It's fucking next play quick.
Yeah.
Get him off the field. Who's up next? Get him in there.
It's a business. Yeah, I won't argue too long, but I...
And maybe the guys that played before in the league, like, I don't think Pete Carroll's ever strapped it up at any level.
But do you think he has concern for his players?
Yeah, not the same as the guy that Fisher and Arians would have.
I just don't think that any of these people, or not any of them, I think some of them, yes. Craig Williams, also in Hard Knocks this year. He views all of these people as disposable pieces.
Well, same as the D-line coach we both like.
Yeah.
But
though he did try to defend on that chop block.
Yes, but his mentality might be different because he was a Marine, so guys were dying next to him. So
well, yeah, I mean, it's the same sort of mentality, and it. Yes, you will move on from the dead person, but it does not mean you are unconcerned with this person.
I mean, you brought up a good point about Schwartz. He looked like a fucking asshole in that episode. Do you hear me talk to you in that headset? Acknowledge me when I'm talking to you. Oh, I got to communicate what you're telling me to 10 other guys. You want me looking at you or communicating what the fuck I'm supposed to say?
Yeah.
To a rookie.
I think the Rams are fucking terrible, by the way. Did we bet the under on those fuckers?
Yeah, we did.
Excellent. All right, let's move on. The long national nightmare is over. Bosa has signed with the Chargers.
I think that was only a nightmare for you.
It really was. It was fucking awful. Now, I will point out, to toot our own horn here, we talked about this 5 weeks before anyone. What a fucking farce this was. That it was ridiculous on both sides. You can go back to our podcasts. We are on record as being 100% right on this. Both of us.
Toot toot.
Yeah. Well, what more can we say? It's what we said a month ago has come to pass in horrible ways. Like, this was a meaningless, dick-measuring argument between an inept and dysfunctional team organization and a bad advice given defensive potential star.
So, what was the final deal? Did he get the guaranteed money up front?
It. You know, usually these are filed. I don't know why that this contract has not been filed with the league. Maybe it does not have to be because it's a rookie deal.
I don't know. But the only part they did say that I saw was that they changed agents. He has co-agents.
He had two co-agents, and he gave it to the other guy.
And the other guy gets a deal. Like, I don't understand that. That was my argument.
Well, that's
with
what.
The
No,
agents.
you were right. It's hurting Bosa more than it's hurting the Chargers. And we had the long argument, and I said, yes, but the Chargers would be hurt for 0.01% of their value. Bosa's getting hurt by 10% of his value.
Yeah.
But Rodney Harrison, before he went crazy, and again, we're teasing the Kaepernick bit coming up, Rodney Harrison said it really well. He's going, the Chargers are bullies. Look what they did to Junior. Look what they did to me. Now, by the way, as a Chargers fan, Junior was fine. Let him go to Miami. Losing Rodney Harrison was tragic for the team.
Yeah. Okay, but when Rodney Harrison
is the voice of reason?
Well, no, but when you have players like Joe Montana go from San Francisco to Kansas City, stop all comparisons of legends on one team. Just stop.
What,
right
did
there.
He bring up Joe Montana?
No, I'm just saying, when players, like, they're saying, oh, they bullied Seau out of San Diego.
But he did say they bullied him out.
No,
and
I know, but he brought up Seau's name.
Comparable
I know,
situation.
But if he brought up Seau's name, they moved on from Joe Montana to let Steve
I know.
play.
And Junior Seau was done in San Diego, by the way. I had, as a Chargers fan, no issue with letting Seau go. I had a big issue at the time with letting Rodney Harrison go. And they did the same thing to him. And I think his most applicable quote here was, "This is why they are an average organization at best." And he brought up the point that I brought up repeatedly, which is, you see how they treated Eric Weddle. You see what they do. If you're a free agent, why are you interested in signing with this team? And as we've discussed, the damage to the Chargers organization now from this has been done. Even Bosa's mother, which he apologized for her tweets, by the way.
Which he should.
Yeah.
Because family members, spouses speaking out on your behalf never helps anybody.
No, and I said that to you when we talked last Wednesday or so. I'm just going, once the family starts talking, that's wrong. They're either looking for something or they're just deluded.
Well, it's their payments on hold.
That's what it seems like, doesn't it?
When the son gets paid, the family gets paid. For whatever reason, and we've seen this time and again in the NFL, in all pro sports, they look at it like a lottery ticket when they've got a kid. Well, you owe me. I raised you. You owe me. There's not very many instances where the family just goes, we don't need anything from you. We're good. You don't hear this about any other profession going broke when they hit it big, other than pro athletes.
And many
I've never heard
of them, like when you hear pro athletes who have gone broke just saying, push your family away, there's something a little diseased in the mental culture. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's, yeah, maybe it's, I don't know if it's the culture of the sport or just the socioeconomic factor of where these guys come from. But it's like they're carrying their whole fucking lineage on their back.
Well, and hey, come on. It's fair enough. Everyone wants to bring up the people they came up with. That is a noble and great human inclination.
But it's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
for your long-term financial health. Like, these guys are thinking, and we've talked about this over and over, when they get in a position where they're going to miss a game check because of the CBA isn't signed and they cave, they have no money. They don't perceive the long-term
They are living
ramifications
paycheck to paycheck at, let's talk a minimum, $3 million a year. You really shouldn't be living paycheck to paycheck at that level.
But it's almost like these guys look at their career like they're a musician or an actor, where the money's just going to keep coming in if I'm good.
Well, and I think it's getting better. I mean, I would like to see some
numbers. It's not in football. It's not in football. Baseball doesn't seem to have the issue. Hockey doesn't seem to. Basketball
Hockey has
does.
some of it.
Just very little. Very
Occasionally,
little.
guys murder their agents, and
very little. They're very little. You don't hear of top guys that played in the league 7-8 years fucking broke. The guys you hear about hockey are the fighters.
It's a lower percentage, but in any case, it's irrelevant. Anytime your family member is saying they should have pulled a Eli, that was terrible, and I'm glad he actually apologized for that.
Well, I'm guaranteeing you that came from the team.
Oh yeah, you have to apologize for your mother's quote. Now here's the thing. I'm happy he's in camp. Our defense is totally terrible. I'm glad it's over. But it's still goddamn embarrassing. As a fan of the San Diego Chargers, combine this with we will suspend Eric Weddle, our best defensive player of the last decade, for daring to walk out during halftime of a meaningless game on a losing team to watch his daughter perform in what he believes is his last game in San Diego. You combine those two, I'm looking at a piece of shit ownership. I'm looking at a piece of shit team that somehow is still sulking about the LA fuck job that Jerry Jones put on them. It's terrible. I don't see my team recovering for 10 years from this fucking shit pile.
Well, are they going to limit his game activity now, like they said? Or does he start?
Hey, did you see McKendrick in the first play from scrimmage in that Minnesota preseason? Bust up the middle for 42? Maybe we could use a guy in the middle there. You know?
He's definitely going to help your defense, but you remember all the threats they made? He's not in camp in time. Don't know when he's going to be ready. He's not going to play right away.
Whatever.
Blah, blah,
and
blah.
We've seen this scenario a dozen times. Rodney Harrison brought it up. Like with him. By the way, letting Harrison go was the worst move I've ever seen my team make.
So what's the difference with what the Patriots do to their guys?
Because
when they just cut them in camp or trade them.
Because it seems to be attitude. It's like the Chargers organization thinks you should suck their dick to be there.
No, but you know what I'm saying. Like when they traded Richard Seymour to Oakland.
Because New England is professional.
No,
when those guys go to work.
No. Who was the guy they traded to Buffalo? Corner to the safety right before the season started, and then they fucking all were fucking steaming mad. All the players. And they promptly got beat by Buffalo like 34-0 or some fucking thing. They do the same thing. Only Belichick gets a pass because he's won.
No, I disagree. Like I can't even remember what you're talking about.
About 6-7 years ago, they traded. I can't fucking remember. It was a corner safety they traded from New England to Buffalo.
I cannot remember, and that's the difference.
Well, no, but that's what you proving my point. They get a pass. They
Is there anything comparable to the fiasco of the end of the Eric Weddle era? Who was a team player, a team leader, the most enthusiastic tub thumper of San Diego football. And in the last game, he was suspended because he watched his daughter at halftime.
No,
Is there anything fucking comparable to that?
Not off the top of my head. I'm sure there's lots of shit.
There's lots of shit, but not usually
closer to
with
home.
The best player of the last 10 years with the team. Best defensive player.
Well, who's the big fat prick New England let go to Houston? They do it all the time.
Yes, I understand people moving on, but there's a certain grace that you can achieve with moving on. Did you hear him say a bad word about New England?
No.
Did it look like a gigantic media shit show as it went down? And by the way, in the last round of this Joey Bosa, did you notice a name that I've screamed about in the past? Dean Spanos Jr. released his press release to none other than noted Chargers beat reporter Kevin A.C. Also the man who said they were going to trade Phillip Rivers. And I said he was a piece of shit, motherfucking scumbag, team mouthpiece hack. That's the guy who put out that one where Dean Spanos Jr., billionaire, screamed, "Joey Bosa is just being asinine." Fuck Kevin A.C. Fuck him. He's a piece of fucking shit. Move the team to fucking San Antonio and see where Kevin A.C. is. God, he's the worst fucking beat writer, worst fucking hack I've ever fucking imagined as a team reporter. God, he's a fucking turd.
Tell us how you really feel.
I think I'm done now. Did you notice who that piece of shit went to? Kevin A.C. And remember when we were arguing about the Phillip Rivers trade? And I called him all those names previously. I don't think I called him a turd, but okay.
No.
I called him every other fucking name. He's a fucking hack piece of shit. Kevin A.C. should die of syphilis. All right.
Are you sure that's
Bosa is signed? And all right.
That was a good rant. Sounded like me.
Can you see by the star-spangled light? You standing? You
sure.
sitting?
Lawyer Malloy was the player that got traded from New England. That was bugging me. Had to look it up before the start of the season. That caused all the ruckus.
I wanted to move on to Kaepernick here.
No, I know. I just found it finally. You gave me a good minute rant there to look it up, so. There you go. Okay, Say Can You See by the Star Spangled Banner. Whatever the fuck you say.
Star Spangled Light.
It's not Star Spangled Light.
Well, Say Can You See by the Star Spangled Light.
No, it's by the Dawn's Early Light.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, all right.
Anyway, Colin Kaepernick.
Wow, that was shameful. All right.
Yeah, you lost your citizenship. They're not letting you into Vegas now.
That's probably an issue.
Yeah, you should wear a Kaepernick jersey on the plane.
No, I won't be doing that.
You know, there won't be any military people in Vegas over the long weekend. Just wear it around, wear it around the casinos. That'd be a good gag.
Okay, now, right there you hit on something that is pissing me off about this. Is instantly, Kaepernick said something about the police. It's already been twisted to some sort of insult about the military.
Well, no, it's always that way in the U.S. because they're the ones that they say protect their freedom and fight to defend this country and the rights that we have and
but what he said was very clear.
Oh, I know.
This is about the police killing black people. And it has nothing to do with the military service. Like, I'm completely with Kaepernick here. You're gonna have to bump me off if you have an opposing view.
Well,
we talked about, once again, we were 3 months ahead of this fucking curve. When Kaepernick tweeted that this is like the lynchings, we had a podcast which dealt very clearly, and it was just in the aftermath of Muhammad Ali's death. We discussed, where is the sports figure who will stand? Our conclusion then was, we just didn't think Kaepernick was the guy.
But is he the guy?
I don't know, but I don't mind him yelling about it.
Yeah, but this happened in the NBA 15 years ago. With a Muslim convert, no less. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, if that rings a bell to anybody out there.
Not me.
Refused to stand during the national anthem of NBA games. Haven't even heard his name brought up yet. But now it's a big thing because it's Kaepernick. And this... See, Rodney, when you're Rodney Harrison rant, yeah, respect what he says. But when he has to apologize for thinking Colin Kaepernick's white, he shouldn't even be on fucking TV.
Exactly.
Shouldn't even be on TV. His opinion should mean sweet fuck all. His job is to know about the NFL. He's covered fucking championship games. They cover the fucking Super Bowls. Fuck off. I knew Colin Kaepernick was fucking black. Are you kidding me?
No, but he ain't black. And okay, we're treading on dangerous grounds here. But is Colin Kaepernick not black enough?
Well, I don't even think that's
what Rodney Harrison was saying? He's not dark, so he doesn't experience the prejudice? Like, that's what I took about the Rodney Harrison was, he's not black, he doesn't deal with it I deal with every day, which is the skin tone's lighter?
Well,
I don't know. And, like, this is fucking dangerous. And I don't know where to go here because I am not African American. I have no fucking idea.
No, but in certain not African American cultures, but in certain cultures, the darkness of or lightness of your black skin is like, listen to Gladwell talk about Jamaica and his mom.
Yeah,
and the shit they go through.
Or the greatest book I've read in 2 years actually gets into it. A Brief History of 7 Killings actually discusses this.
Yeah, the color of your skin in Jamaica puts you in a different class. If you're light-skinned black, you're in a better class than the dark-skinned blacks. So, who knows?
Like, I don't know where to go here, but I find
Marlon, I'm
one
sure
thing
there's shit goes on
simple.
In the black community where that's part of it. I'm not just like any other group, not all.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's part of it that is resentful towards.
And I think Rodney brought that to the forefront.
Well, who calls each other Uncle Toms? It's the whites don't call the blacks Uncle Toms. It's their own community.
I have no idea. I mean, this is such a confusing issue.
Well, there's no confusion to me. I don't mind that he doesn't want to stand.
Yeah. What the fuck is that issue?
But there's a better way to get his message across and try and affect change than by sitting during the national anthem.
Yes, but
I respect his opinion on it. I don't respect the actions of it. There's other ways to do it.
I'm going to go all conspiratorial on you.
Oh.
The previous issue of Hard Knocks, by the way, he has sat for the national anthem in every game. This wasn't a one-time thing. Do you think it's a coincidence that Hard Knocks 2 weeks ago had Jeff Fisher doing a long piece about this is how we stand for the anthem?
Yes, I do think it's a coincidence.
You really do?
Yes, because he said ask the vets in here. They know how we want it. I guarantee you that's been at every fucking training
but everyone knew that Kaepernick was sitting for the national anthem. I think that this is a media firestorm.
No.
And a constructed media firestorm.
No. By who? For what?
Because anybody who looks at the NFL... This is now suddenly
the NFL.
become...
No,
here's the thing that pisses me off.
The NFL wants nothing to do with this. They want sunshine and apple fucking pie. You honestly believe that they would let HBO? They don't have final say on what goes out over the air. Like you said, it was a puff piece for fucking football in LA.
Perfectly
you can't have
designed.
It both ways. You can't have it both ways.
Oh, it's perfectly designed.
For what? They want this controversy before kickoff next Thursday.
But HBO wants the race controversy. Everyone is playing a fucking race
the NFL.
card here.
The NFL, you're saying this is a conspiracy for what,
I think they got it past the NFL.
No.
I think this is HBO producing a firestorm.
Fisher's going to do a 20-minute presentation at training camp for HBO.
Yeah. Because he thinks it's what is safer than instructing
you sound worse
my
than
players.
The podcast I listen to.
No. Okay, what is safer in HBO, Jeff Fisher? It's like, I'm going to instruct my players how to deal with the anthem.
This wasn't the first time.
Yes, but 2 weeks ago, HBO's going, Colin Kaepernick, who, by the way, is a washout player, which I told you 4 years ago.
So HBO goes to Jeff Fisher and says Colin Kaepernick's not standing during
No,
the national anthem.
HBO goes to Jeff Fisher and goes, let's talk about the anthem. Let's do a little piece here.
You're out of your mind, dude.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's no football coach in the NFL is going to take instructions on how to run a team fucking meeting for the TV cameras. Next.
No, but he would love to pump it with the flag because Jeff. All right,
that's Marlon. You're talking about Pete Carroll before being a truther. This is even further than that.
Anna. No, I think this was well designed by HBO. Okay, where do we stand on the Kaepernick thing? Let's get this right on the plate right now.
It's fucking meaningless.
I think...
To all parties involved, it means shit. Means absolutely shit. What does him not standing during the national anthem change about what the fuck is going on in the U.S. right now? Sweet fuck all. I don't have a problem with them doing it. Every right to do it. But if you want to affect change, it's not by sitting during the national fucking anthem.
All right.
When Muhammad Ali was protesting, it actually fucking affected his livelihood. And he was working with people. He was working with people to affect change. Him just fucking putting out tweets and sitting on the sidelines during the anthem does sweet fuck all.
Bang. You nailed it. You said exactly correctly what I believe.
So...
Now, taking what you said... I agree with that. Is this callous by a fading NFL star? Do you cynically think that he is using this to keep himself relevant?
No.
Okay.
If anything, it's going to get him cut.
Oh, he's going to get cut anyway, man. He sucks.
Okay, but it's not helping. If you're on the fringe, this isn't helping. This isn't his idea of staying relevant so he can keep a job.
No, but I'm thinking it's keeping him relevant as a famous person, which is an entirely different sort of team notion. Is this a cynical notion
work.
That he can become?
No.
Okay.
Because it doesn't work. How famous is Terrell Owens now?
Well, Terrell Owens was even
but how famous is
he
now? How famous is he now? He's tried everything to stay relevant. Athletes are only relevant as long as they're fucking producing. Here's how far they'll go to stay relevant, and it doesn't fucking work. Calvin Johnson is on Dancing with the fucking Stars.
Yeah, here's how much. Here's how much at the peak. I mean, he's going to be relevant for a long time.
No, he's not, Marlon. He's not. He is not. Ray Lewis off ESPN now is irrelevant. That's what sports does. You're irrelevant until Ravens are in the playoffs. Here's their best team. Then we'll see highlights of Ray Lewis. Fucking irrelevant. Kaepernick, if he gets cut and not signed somewhere, he could tweet for fucking days. The only way he makes the news is if he gets arrested. It doesn't matter. Sports, they just grind him up, spit him out, next. It fucking doesn't matter. So, him making a political statement, if he wanted to do something, get out in the fucking community and do something.
Well, okay, we discussed this again months ago when he put out his first tweet.
No, I give him kudos for calling it a modern-day lynching. It's not easy in his position to take a stand on something.
And actually, his cosmetology versus police training statement was fucking brilliant.
Yes, but do you think he knew that? Or is it being fed
So
to
you're
him?
saying, like, is he responsible for this? Like, at what point are we going to treat him as what he's saying versus what we think he's trying to do?
Well, here's the old saying: actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, but what actions do you want him to take?
If you want to be a political activist, I have no problem with that. You can be a pro athlete and a political activist, not an issue.
Okay.
But what are you doing outside of sitting on the fucking sidelines instead of standing during the national anthem to affect change?
Well,
has he done anything?
Okay, if we go by the Trump metric, he's actually created a conversation, which by Trump's would make him worth $1 billion.
Marlon, that conversation is what he's trying to start a conversation on has been going on for fucking 6 months.
No, it's been going on for 15 years.
Yes, but so what is he doing? My point is, what is he expecting to happen from this? What's his end game with this? If you're going to use this as the starting point for something bigger that you believe in, and you're going to carry that forward, then it's great. But if this is all you do, then fuck off.
But how do we know that? You're presuming that there's nothing in the future.
Well, go on Twitter. There's fucking millions of fucking social justice warriors.
Why on earth would I go on Twitter?
No, but Marlon, my point is it's become a joke now. It's thoughts and prayers when somebody passes away. Everybody just tweets thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. This is what I equate what Kaepernick has done up to this point. Yeah, he's a Twitter radical.
Okay, I will give you a couple of different exceptions to that. One, he stated quite clearly and brilliantly that there are cosmetology people who have more training. That's a brilliant point.
Yeah, but it's
Will
a fucking
you not
anecdote.
acknowledge that as a brilliant point?
It is, but it's an anecdote.
But it's true.
But it's an anecdote. What does that change anything?
It's actually something most people haven't thought about. No one's thought about the notion that you have to go 2 years to do a fucking manicure and you have to do 6 months to be a cop.
Dude.
I think that's a valid point.
He could have picked 6,000 professions where you take more schooling and training than a cop.
Doesn't that make the point?
Well, if he wants to affect change,
does that not make the point
school
right there that we really are putting guns in the hands of thugs? And maybe we should be looking a little more at how we are self-policing. I think that's a valid point right there. He actually made valid fucking points.
Okay. Well, let's flip it on its head then. If we want to talk about criminals in a profession, why doesn't he start by cleaning up his own fucking profession?
Why?
If he's painting all the cops with the same brush, I can paint all.
Okay,
yes,
he
but
that's
he
over. Yes, he was because he's not that smart a guy.
He is painting all the cops with the same fucking brush. So if we want to turn it on its head, then I can say all NFL players are fucking criminals and
rapists, women beaters. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair enough. But on the other hand,
the breaks they get, all the breaks the fucking NFL players get. Leonard Little fucking kills 4 people on the fucking highway. Brown from Dallas kills a teammate. Drunk driving. He's playing. Come on. No, clean up your own house. then worry about everybody else's, because I can paint it with the same fucking brush.
Oh, okay, that's bullshit.
No, it's not.
No,
what training?
That is. It's
no,
bullshit
it's not.
because
it's
one
not.
is a tiny, tiny sample of the population, and one is a workforce of 300,000. That, like, it just does not statistically stand.
Walk it through college, walk it through fucking high school.
Oh, because, okay, he's being privileged, so he cannot say this.
No.
And, okay, like here's the hilarious thing.
If he wants to
like Donald Trump going, oh, you got rich here, shut your mouth. Shouldn't that invalidate the entire right wing?
I'm not even discussing Trump. He's a fucking idiot.
No, I know, but
if you want to
compare, the entire right wing saying America is a shit pile?
Yes.
And so he says America's a shit pile, and suddenly he's wrong? He's not grateful? He's not delighted to be a cog in the machine?
No, but do something then.
Yes, and there are valid points on all of this, but okay, can you point to one thing he said that's wrong?
Well, yeah, he's basically said all cops are evil, and he's oppressed.
No, he said, I'm tired of people murdering colored people and going on paid leave. Like, give me a statement where he's wrong.
Well, he could just use that statement against the NFL. Where am I wrong?
That doesn't invalidate it. That's reductio ad absurdum.
Where am I
wrong? That's a logical fallacy.
No, but where am I wrong in saying that? Anybody could say the same thing about they have been saying it about the NFL for a decade. There's books written on it.
Yes, so he's voicing it, and suddenly he's wrong.
No, he's not wrong. But what is he doing for it? What has he done except send out...
Is he expected to change this world?
What's he done besides send out...
Why is suddenly the onus on him to change the fucking world?
But what is he trying to do other than sit for the national anthem? Is my point.
He did it for 3 weeks without...
Yes.
Whatever. Fair enough.
What's he doing?
Honestly, I don't believe in God. So when I'm at my sister's place, I'm an atheist. It's a mild point. What I don't do in the prayer at dinner is I don't close my eyes. Because that's what I believe. I'm not going to make a big issue out of it. When did the big issue come?
After Hard Knocks. Got Jeff Fisher to do it by script.
Exactly.
It's a false flag.
No, it's not a false flag. You're misusing that term.
I
you
know.
You don't even know your conspiracy bullshit. Jesus Christ, you're lame.
Bay of Pigs, it's a false flag. Oh, fuck, dude. Who gives a fuck? Sit, stand, go take a shit.
Well, I don't know, but the outrage is hilarious. And okay, and I just want to go one more thing on this. Is it's suddenly being twisted to hating America.
No, I never thought that.
No, but that's what it's become, and that's what drives me nuts.
No, but when you make statements like a cosmetologist, which he isn't wrong, but you could pick 10,000 fucking other jobs.
Oh, I know. No, but it was a perfect statement, dude. Look at that statement. It's brilliant. You have to train for 2 years to be a cosmetologist. You have to train for 6 months to be a cop. Why are the cops a fucked up organization in the States?
Well, then disband them and see what happens. Give me a solution. What's the solution?
Well, first of all, there's a really simple solution. Cops shooting people, what you get is you make it fucking federal. You bring in a triumvirate of federal people. Anytime a cop kills a guy, you bring in 3 judges who are not associated with any local political nature. You're not killing the fucking Negroes. You're not doing anything. You bring in and you assess each cop thing. You have a triumvirate of federal judges who come in and assess that fucking situation.
Well, they did it in Ferguson. They did it in Ferguson. What did it solve? They still found the cop not guilty.
Well, yes.
But Marlon, nobody was happy with that. There was nobody happy with that.
That's only because there was this fucking absurd... I don't like Black Lives Matter either. But the fact is once... Okay, what you have to do is get some sort of oversight. Right? You get 3 fucking people who don't give a shit about local politics, don't give a shit, and they assess the situation. That's where you start. Does it fix all the problems? No. But you know what? It's a first step, and no one else, no other organization is offering anything that can fix this fucking shithole. You still there?
Yeah, there's no way to fix it.
Well, but you start there.
Yeah, but they've tried that, and it still didn't work. Because
you apply that to everyone because
Marlon, look at Bosa and the Chargers. This is the same. You have 2 sides that believe totally different things. The Black Lives Matter still think Ferguson, he was murdered in the street, even after a federal investigation. Right?
Yes, but that's sort of the outlier. That is the case. Most of the other murders of black guys by police have been pretty clearly proven to be murders. You can fucking hang your hat on the one case that the federal people investigated and found, and people were still angry. But the fact is most of them are murders by the fucking police.
I'm not disagreeing.
You can always cherry pick that one nice result, which...
No, but it was the highest profile one in the last 18 months.
But yes, you can cherry pick that one, and you can bring in federal investigators. If you applied federal investigators to all these cases, just as a matter of fucking course, then you start to see a perception of justice.
No, but are we too far gone?
No, we can never be too far gone. I refuse to go down that fucking road because
but when they're marching in the streets saying "kill pigs,"
we're just saying we'll all be eating our babies for breakfast, man.
No, but when you have marches in the streets where they're chanting "kill pigs,"
exactly. But
how
do you diffuse it? You diffuse it with actual. All you got to do is every police shooting. Here, we're gonna fucking sweep in. And this is why the fucking libertarians are fucking wrong. This is why all these goddamn idiots should just shut the fuck up. Let's apply the same fucking ocular to it. If you just start applying the same fucking scrutiny to every case, people will actually be reasonable and go, do you know what? He deserved to die.
It's still the perception of it's the man making the decision.
Yeah. Well, maybe it won't
regardless
work.
of who
Maybe it won't
makes
work,
it.
but that's my best fucking solution, because otherwise, as I said, we'll all be eating our babies for breakfast. And fuck it all. If we just give up that we think this solution is unsolvable, we're all just fucked.
Well, we are.
No. Jesus Christ, I'm the...
It's...
No, like, I'm not willing to go there yet. I still believe that 95% of the people I've met in my life are good and want the right thing.
Right.
They may be dissolved, but if the 5%, whether the 5% is Trump or whether the 5% is Black Lives Matter, that's what's going to fuck us all.
But we're arguing about the 1% that are fucked up.
Those people are called criminals. We've had ways to deal with them before. We'll have ways to deal with them again.
No, but we're arguing about 1% of, or less than 1% of cops.
Yes.
That do anything.
Yes. So just fucking... Any good cop is fine with fucking scrutiny. Because they know they're doing the right thing. They know they're doing the Lord's work. And I don't believe in the fucking Lord. But I believe that humanity has a morality.
That was my point of saying Kaepernick's painting them all with the same brush. Like, when you say you're oppressed, I'm tired of seeing black and brown people oppressed. You have to expound on that.
Yes.
That's what I meant by the Twitter justice warrior that he's being.
Yes, and
like, they're all nice sound bites.
This goes back to what we talked about 3 months ago. These are issues that have to be talked about, and we said at the time, is Kaepernick the guy? Because has not presented himself maybe to be the smartest man on the planet. No, on the other hand, his cosmetology argument was fucking great.
I still believe that was fed to him by somebody.
Who cares? Why is that relevant? He's the spokesperson. Well, just like you said,
right? Like, he's not the smartest. Like you said, he's not the smartest guy. Political activism shouldn't be whispered in your ear.
John F. Kennedy was a fucking retard. He was a pussy hound piece of shit. Robert Kennedy was a smart guy. His dad was a smart guy. JFK was a goddamn fucking retard, but he said the right things.
Okay.
He really was. He was not a smart man. You don't need the smart man to be the face of an organization.
But he's not an organization. That's my point. Well, what's the end game? I don't have a Marlon. I respect him for standing up for what he believes in. But that only goes so far.
Yeah, and so what he's setting himself up with...
Marlon, you can go online and read 100,000 people feel the same way he does.
Yes, okay.
But what's he going to do?
He is setting himself up to be the face of this organization.
Of what organization?
Black Lives Matter.
He's not going to be the face of Black Lives Matter.
Oh, let's talk in a couple of years.
Not even close.
He will be, because, first of all, he's collected $28 million, roughly. He can have it, and he's actually established himself fairly well as the first prominent guy, and he can always play the card that it wasn't that he sucked. He was driven from it because of his outspoken nature. He is setting himself up perfectly.
Well, if that's what he's doing, he's a fucking creep. If he's using this to say if that's the case, that's the equivalent of Trump saying if I lose the election's rigged.
But does he believe it? I actually think he believes what he's saying.
Well, then he's too dumb to lead any movement.
Why?
Well, if he believes he's getting kicked out of he's not going to be in football.
No, I think he realizes that he's done with football. And so he's establishing himself as the next level. What's next for me? Which is to be a martyr for the cause of race. I think he's doing it brilliantly.
You'll be wrong. Because in 6 months after he's out of football, unless he says he's going to fucking blow up a police station, nobody will give a fuck what he says.
Well, you think the Black Lives Matter, you think, a movement would not attach themselves to him?
No.
Oh, they will.
No, they won't.
The problem, I think the biggest problem would be is in a one-on-one interview, because I kind of am with you that he hasn't thought any of this through. Yes,
not at all.
Exactly.
He'll fall apart. That's why it's in 140 characters on Twitter, sound bites that look good in the press. Like you brought up Ali.
Well, and
he actually had actions behind his
on
words.
His first Twitter.
No, but
but he wants to present himself as Ali. I was an NFL quarterback at the peak. And by the way, who's to say that won't work? Because no one will remember his crumble, but they'll always be able to see him in the Super Bowl.
We brought this up. The whole reason we started talking about athletes and being outspoken and activists was because we watched the O.J. Simpson ESPN 30 for 30.
And Ali died at the same time.
No, and the fact that Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Ali tried to form a coalition of the most famous black athletes in the nation to try and get some change. And OJ wouldn't join. That's how we started talking about it. And Kaepernick's not on the level of respect in any community to get anything like that done. There's going to be no organization take him on as the face of their organization.
The world has changed, boy. You don't have to be really actually good at anything to be famous.
Oh, I'm not saying that, but he's not famous outside of people.
Doesn't matter. Down the street. If he attached himself to any of these organizations, he would be the most famous people. They would and they would die for him because he would be the most famous person ever involved with him. And the relative value of fame. Ali was fucking famous. Jim Brown was fucking famous.
Yeah, but they actually got down in the
bar
trenches
of fame.
They did the work, Marlon. They did the work.
Yes, but you don't need to do the work anymore to be famous, Boyd.
I'm not talking about famous. I'm talking about affecting change. Yeah, fuck, who cares if he's famous?
I'm not assessing his long-term success at this. I'm just saying he's the famous person they want.
No, he's not. Ali and fucking Jim Brown.
Different concept of
those
fame.
Guys actually took a stand. They fucking marched. They did the fucking work.
Different concept of fame. Britney Spears still dominates morning television. Yes, but no, it all is about fame, man. No, we talked about this a while ago. That fame is in itself its own concept.
So Ali marching was because he was famous.
Yes, And he is the nature... He is the Black Lives Matter Kardashian.
Dude.
He is the Kardashian. The Kardashians are more important in the last 20 years than LE ever was.
Oh, fuck. I wish I could hire a camera crew to go out and walk down the street and ask who the fuck he is. Because nobody fucking knows who he is.
But
He's not
they will
fucking
make
famous.
him known.
No,
Ex-NFL quarterback, run those Super Bowl clips.
No.
So all you need is that 2 minutes of fame, whether it's fucking Ray J or whether it's... I don't know what the fuck Britney Spears ever did to get famous.
Well, how famous is Tim Tebow in the Christian movement? Fuck, give me a break.
And they're still writing pieces on him trying out for baseball. All right, we got a better game, man, and we are up to 115, and that was a fucking blast. You?
Yeah, pick a game. I could give 2 fucks. Because I don't have a clue.
You're just sulking now.
No, I don't have a clue. On any of these ones I liked, fucking 5.5 points in a week 4 game. The Bears, the Colts, 4 points.
Okay, I had 2 I liked. One of which was, let's go with your man Jeff Fisher, who has a sterling 12-6 record in week 4 when it doesn't matter. I'm gonna give you 2 and you can choose. We've got, looking for the line here, sorry. We have the Rams +5 at the Broncos.
Okay.
And...
No, the Rams are playing the Vikings.
Yeah, sorry.
They're +2.
Yeah, I still like it. Sorry. I had last week's spreads in my gallery here. Well, it's preseason, for God's sake. But then we also have the Bengals -4 at home versus the Colts, who we agree is a dumpster fire. Which one do you like? Rams +2, Bengals -4. I hate laying points in preseason.
Oh, fuck me.
I know you hate... I actually brought in the Rams just to piss you off.
Well, not even the Rams.
Jeff Fisher.
No, neither of these...
I think the Vikings are shell-shocked and destroyed. I kind of like the Rams +2.
That's kind of where I was deferred when you first brought it up. And I saw that it was Minnesota. There'd be nobody playing that's of any importance to them in that game.
And that entire team is demoralized. Like, yeah, maybe they could come out. We can do it without Teddy. But
nah,
they're done.
No, it's the Rams. So you get the Rams +2 at Minnesota. $5 pays $9.54. It is done. Write that down. Okay, so there's no real need to recap this week's bets because we only made one.
Could you refresh me on that, buddy?
Yeah, Rams +5 at Denver.
Yeah.
We have the Rams +2 at Minnesota. All right. If you want to check out the podcast, you can listen to it on iTunes or Stitcher for your Android device. On our website, offensivelines.ca. Follow us on Twitter at offensivelines for any updates to our blog posts or when a new podcast is available. Our personal Twitter accounts at OLinesMarlon or at OLinesBoyd. Facebook.com/Offensive Lines. You can check out our YouTube channel, Offensive Lines, or YouTube/Offensive Lines. And if you want to send us an email, it's offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon. And that was Offensive Lines, the final week of preseason. I guess I'm just not black enough for Rodney.
Degenerate fucking gambler.